If you are struggling with taking good, solid digital notes, this video is for you, so keep watching. Hi, I am Caroline Gunter. I am a digital organizing strategist, productivity specialist, and multi-passionate entrepreneur. I love taking digital notes, and so I thought I would make a video to show you how I do this for maximum ROI on my time. Now, it can be a little bit tricky, right, until you get your system ironed out and, worked up for the first time. But once you have a solid system in place, anything is possible. So I am going to give you a walkthrough of how I do this in my system, and then perhaps you can consider implementing something like that for yourself. I have what I feel is a very foolproof system that works for me. Will it work for you? I don't know, but it's worth a shot, right? So let's get right in it. I use Notion, and I love Notion because you can do so much with relational databases. And that is the one thing that I have found keeps me on track and lets me see everything and relate everything so that I get the most stuff done. I hope that makes sense. I think it's fantastic, and I would highly recommend it. Can you use another system? Of course. It's not all or nothing here, but I do recommend Notion for this because the relational databases are amazing. You can do so much customization and just really make it fit how you work and your style. So let's jump right in. So here I am in my system in Notion, and I have what I call a session notes database. I don't differentiate between videos that I watch, courses that I take, workshops, conferences, things like that. I find that it's much, much easier for me to just call whatever it is a session. I don't classify and differentiate between those different things. So whether I'm at a conference learning something, or if I'm watching a YouTube video, if I am learning something in a specific period of time, to me, that's a session. And that helps me keep everything in one place and not overthink what something is, right? And sometimes, if you're going back and you're looking for a note, you may not remember if it was a conference or if it was a YouTube video or what it was that you attended, but you're just going to remember the content and what you're looking for. So I find that really helps me. So that's number one. So that's why I call this database session notes and not anything else. You could absolutely classify if you feel like that's better for you, but I don't do that. I focus on the content. So in this database, I have first a date, I have the name of the session, I have who it was hosted by, I have the main takeaway, I have tags that I throw on it, I have the other relational database for what other sessions it might be related to. For example, if I was at a conference or something like that, or maybe it was a series of videos, then it might be related to something else. Then I have the handout right here. I have if it's related to a project that I'm working on or an area of responsibility that we have in the business. I have also a relational database here for words of wisdom, meaning quotes and good ideas, basically good phrases that I want to somehow repurpose or just remember. I also have it related to books that I'm reading and Readwise for notes on those books. So that's the basic layout of it. When it's time to create a new session note, I go to my templates. So right in here, if I click new in this dropdown, I have a new session note right here. Okay, and if I click there, I get a blank note with all of the fields that I have ready to fill out. Now I've made a template that works for me. And if I open this full screen, you'll see that first I can type in the name, then who it's hosted by, the date, the main takeaway, the handout, and then we have the relationships here again, and tags and so on. And then down here is where I have the content, the takeaways as I'm taking notes during the session. This is what I fill in, right? So I put the main content here. I do the main takeaways at the end. Concepts that I learn that may be new to me, I write down what those are here. I put links that I want to check out right here. Any quotes that come out of the session. Questions I have and maybe the answer that the instructor gave. And then I have connect with, because every now and then you will meet somebody amazing at a conference and you want to remember to connect and follow up with that person and actually get to know them better. So I have that here. And then I have my master task list database embedded right here so that I can put all of the action steps that I want to accomplish right into my task database and actually assign a due date for them. And that helps me get so much more done. So I'm going to walk you through how to do all this, okay? So just for fun, I have pulled up one of my videos here on YouTube. I am a genealogist as well. The multi-passionate entrepreneur in me has a lot of stuff going, and I do love genealogy and family history. So I've made a video here on my channel called The Top 15 Ways to Find Your Immigrant Ancestors' Home Parish. Okay, so I'm just going to use that as an example to show you how I do this. So let's say that this is the session that I'm attending and I'm actually going to take notes from this, okay? The first thing I would do is go in here to my session notes database and I would create a new session note. And I would call it the top 15 ways to find your ancestors' home parish, okay? Hosted by, this actually goes to my contacts list. So I'll just put myself there because that's the person that made it, right? In my contacts database, you can see that I have little hearts. That's how I organize who's who in my contacts. So if we actually go into the session database in the contacts, you can see that I have team members are purple, coaches and mentors are blue, collaborators are green, and so on. So that's how I classify the relationship status I have with the person. In this case, it is purple because I'm a team member in my business. The date could be today, right? So I'll put that in here. And then the main takeaway is, let's see, great ways to research home parishes, right? Sometimes I will fill that out at the end after I have watched the whole session, just so I know kind of what my big takeaway was. But just for this video, I'll just put it in now. There's no handout as far as I know, but if there was, I could just throw it there. So when I download it, you know how it comes down and kind of shows up in your bar down here. I just drag and drop it in, and then I open it and delete it from my downloads folder. In this case, there's nothing. Here, related to session, if I had done a different session with the same instructor or within the same conference or whatever, I can relate those here so that I can quickly find what else might have been taught by that person. In this case, I'm just going to leave it empty because this is the first video I'm doing for myself. But if I was doing, let's say, 15 different videos, from the same person, every single video would have its own note. And then I would relate all of those to each other so that I can quickly hop in between them and see what I learned. Project right here. So if I'm working on a certain project in my relation database for projects, that would be here. Same here with area of responsibility for my business, if it's related to something there. In this case, maybe marketing. Let's see, for Searching Scandinavia, which is one of my brands, I'll put that there. For project, I have a course called Searching Sweden. I'll put that there, right? Because this is actually a video from that course. So then I have the words right here. So this usually also is something that I fill in at the end because, I need to watch it to see what amazing quotes were in there, right? So I'll fill that out at the end. And then if there's a book that I'm currently reading, I might click that here and relate it to that book. Same thing with Readwise. That's how I take notes as I read on my mobile devices, right? So I will sync that up to this database. And then for tags, maybe storytelling. Let's see, what else do I have here that could fit? Sweden would work, right? So I will searching Scandinavia, searching Sweden. So I will throw all of the tags on there so that I can quickly then organize by tags in a different view if I need to. This is from my master tag database. So that's kind of the prep work there. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to fill out, even though it kind of seems like it now. Once you get, used to it, it kind of goes really quick. And then here for the content, well, I'll just basically grab screenshots. So in this case, I hold down Shift, Control, Command, and 4, and I will just grab a screenshot like this, and then I will paste it right in there. And I will just keep doing that. So here, for example, is another good slide. I will just copy that, paste that in there. And obviously, if I was actually learning this, I would do this much slower, but just for the purpose of having you understand what I'm doing, I'm just going through it a little bit faster. Let's see. So here is another takeaway. I'll copy and paste that. So you can see that when I take notes, I take visual notes a lot by doing screenshots. And the reason for that is because I'm a very visual person. And if I start typing, I often can't type as fast as I want to. And then I end up missing stuff, right? So I find that I take screenshots because it helps me move along at the same pace as the teacher. And then I will sit down and reflect on it and maybe type out some notes afterwards. So just to show you again really quickly, here's another one that I want to save. And that way I remember much better because I remember the presentation more so than what was said, right? So let's say I'm done now with this video. I have all of the information. Now I might type some notes here, So, it's not like I can't combine and take notes regularly. I can. I just find that for the main content, I tend to actually do screenshots. It works so much better for me. So takeaways, maybe I learned something. Let's see. Look for captions and clues on old photos. Let's just say that that's one of my takeaways. Okay. Concepts. Maybe I learned a new word or something like that. I don't have a great example in this particular situation, but maybe I don't know the word insignia just for the heck of it, right? Okay, I can just show that that basically means logo, right? So things like that are new, that are specific concepts that I learn, I will put like that. And then links, maybe I found a link somewhere that I want to visit later on. Maybe in the presentation there was a link. In this case, maybe I want to check out the course, right? So I will come down and I will paste that link right here. You can either create a bookmark, or you can just type it in. And maybe I want to put the link for the video, right? So that I can remember it later. So if that's the case, share, copy, and then throw that in there. And then that way you can actually revisit this video if you want to. Quotes, if there was something smart. Man, I can't spell today. Here we go. And who said it? That way I have that for later and I can reflect on that and I can actually express that and give credit to the person who said it. If I had a question, what about X? Is that something that you want to email about to, the person who created the video? If you're in a conference, maybe you raise your hand and you actually get an answer, you can type that out here. And then that way you actually have that neatly organized and you don't have to scour the whole content section, right, for where that Q&A was. And connect with, in this case, I'll just put myself, but maybe you connected with somebody else that you want to talk to after the conference or after watching the video or whatever. Put that there. And then you can always get those into your contacts later, those people. And then for master task list, I will look back on this and I will say, well, what actions do I need to take from this session? How do I take what I learned and actually implement it and put it into action? So for a takeaway, for example, look for captions and clues on old photos. I'll go, aha, let me do that. So I'll just actually take that. I'll open a new task, put that in here. And then this obviously is related to my task lists, right? So I'll do the status on it, the due date. I'll do the level of difficulty, who it's assigned to. And the reason I have that is because I have team members, right? So if I want to assign it to somebody else, I could. The category is personal in this case. Is it related to a project that I'm working on? In this case, no, I'll just leave that blank. The URL, if I need a specific URL. Let's say you want to check out, a new note-taking system, right? In this video, I mentioned that I'm using Notion. Let's say you want to use Notion and you're like, okay, that's something I want to check out. So in this case, you would put that link there so that you can go directly there later on. Here I have if it's important or urgent, and that's basically a priority matrix that I have in my system. Thank you, Marie, for sharing that. And then I have, the role responsible, again, because I'm running a business. So I'm the CEO, so it's me. But maybe it's a task that we're doing for the business, in which case I can then assign, a different role in my business to handle that. The area might be, again, something I'm working on. In this case, it's personal. If it's business, I have a lot more things to relate to because I do use this mostly for business. The type of task would be a one-time, maybe. I also have an option for recurring. The team, the goals, and then there's more stuff down here that we use for the business, but I just wanted to show you. I don't want to go into like how I do tasks in this video, but I just wanted to show you that I put that right in here so that then I have that related to, and it goes directly into my task list. So that is how I take notes. And then when I'm done, I just go back here, and now you can see that this note is right here on top. It is not always completely filled out, right? Because some notes will have relations to other notes, some won't. Some will have handouts, others won't. So it's not always 100% filled out everywhere, and that's okay. But I love this database because now that I'm here, top level, I can just scroll down and I can see all of my notes. And you can see that I see when it happened, what it was called, who it was hosted by, what the main takeaway was. That is so important because sometimes, if it's been a while, you go, so-and-so said that one thing, and I can't remember what session that was, but then I can actually look here for my main takeaway. And if it was a big conference and a lot of people were teaching and all that, I can find what I need really quickly right here, So in this case, great ways to research home parishes for an ancestor. I see that right here. So I go, okay, I know it was this one. And then I can open it and look more in detail at those notes. So I find that top level is really important. Here are the tags. So again, if I open here, these things that we filled out here on top, this is what you see up here, okay? So those are the tags that I actually filled out down here, right? It all shows up here in the beginning. This is the top level. It's not related to any other session in this particular case. There was no handout, but I did relate it to a project and an area. I didn't say something smart, but if I wanted to, oops, here we go. I would put that there, and now that's in my Words and Wisdoms quotes database, basically, right? With all the quotes that I save. Let's see. I didn't relate it to a book. Let's say if I had written a book and this was an excerpt from the book, I could relate that to the book that I'm reading right here, and readwise as well if I was reading that book. So I hope that you can see that when I take notes in such a way that I get the maximum ROI. I make sure I remember what my main takeaway was. I make sure that I relate it to other things that I've learned. And I make sure that I put in action the steps that I want to take, as a result of learning this, so that I just don't take notes and not do anything with them, right? I always say knowledge is power, but it requires action. You need to actually take what you learn and do something with it and implement. So that has helped a lot to have that main task database embedded right there. That helps me get so much more on my calendar, so much more done. And especially too, if I'm looking at, my course, the thing with relational databases is that, if I open this course and I see all the related notes, this pops up there. So I can jump in, anywhere. Basically, I can have any entry point in this system and still get to the same place. In my world right now, all roads lead to Notion, basically. It's been so much fun to use. So, even if I go into my area here in marketing, I can still get to the same note because that note will be there. If I go into my words and wisdoms database, this is related to that. So I can jump to where that quote came from. So it's so powerful to be able to connect ideas and actually take it and do something with it. And of course, because I have the tags on it and because I have the main takeaway right here up front, I never have to scroll that much to actually find my notes again, So I want you to think about it that way. I don't want you to just take notes and then forget about them and not do anything with them and never go back and look at them again. I find that happens a lot. I hear that a lot from people, like, oh, I can't remember where I put this note, or I don't know what I wrote down. I haven't done anything with it yet. If you have a database like this, that is not going to happen, okay? You just need the system in place, and then you'll be able to take what you learn and actually implement it much faster. So I hope that was helpful. If you want this particular database, if you felt like this was helpful, I do have a free template for you on Gumroad. So I'll put that link underneath this video. Feel free to go there and download it. And if you need help with any of this, like setting it up, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer questions. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.